Hi, guys. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Obviously, we have a lot in common. My name is Cindy Morrison, and I'm definitely a product of Spark and Hustle, which you guys have signed up to attend. But also, we have a common love of jewelry. I'm a Stella and Dot stylist, and in fact, two of my mentors are on the line, Tracy and Mignon. So I'm just now starting my business on that part, but I wanted to learn more about selling the jewelry. Plus, I was buying it all myself anyway, and wanted to, just be able to wear it, show it, host parties, and that kind of thing. So much fun. So today we're going to talk about, and this is a bonus, just so you guys know, only for Stella and Dot stylists who are signed up for Spark and Hustle. I really wanted to do something special for you guys since I'm also a stylist, and also just, sort of give you this warm, extra special welcome to Spark and Hustle. So today what we're going to go over are 10 things that you can do for your social media strategy to help you in your Stella and Dot business. And a lot of times people will ask me, well, what if I have, two businesses? Yes, you can use a lot of these same strategies in any business or the business that your spouse or significant other does. These are going to be some basic strategies, but I'm customizing them to you guys. So the first things that we're going to cover we're going to talk about Facebook. I really feel like with Stella and Dot, the majority of your customers are going to be on Facebook. I mean, it's the 850 million person party that you can't afford not to be a part of. And to tell you how important I think Facebook is, I almost think it's like, you've got this great jewelry, and instead of going to the mall where everybody is and everybody's shopping and talking and networking, you're asking people, hey, could you leave the mall with me, leave all your stuff there, I'm going to have you walk across the parking lot, across the street, to this other place, and then you can come in and look at my stuff. In reality, people are going to say, you know what, I'm too busy to leave, I'm having a good time here. Not to say that you can't sell jewelry outside of the mall. What I'm doing is telling you that Facebook is really like that big party. And unless you're willing to go there and network and show your wares, you're really missing out on a wonderful opportunity. So why not bring your personality, your specific style, and also your jewelry to this big shopping mall and networking place and get a chance for people to see your stuff there. They don't even have to leave there to see it. So that's kind of what you can do with Facebook. So, all right, and just so you guys know, I did not mute your phones because if you want to ask a question, this is really casual, and I want you to be able to jump in and ask a question. So we may, hear a few sneezes or a few dog barks, but just bear with me. I want this to be interactive. All right, so first, the 6 things with Facebook that you really, really need to know. Number 1 is your cover photo, and that's the very first thing people see when they come to your Facebook. What I would suggest is either a great photo from a party where you can tell a lot of people are having fun, they're trying on jewelry, they're laughing. It could be maybe a photo from the Stella and Dot website that's just a beautiful piece or couple of pieces of jewelry. Yes, can you put your family picture in there? Absolutely. Can you put a fun picture of you? Yes. I'm just thinking strategy-wise for selling your Stella and Dot business on your Stella and Dot fan page and even really on your personal profile, for them to see that jewelry it can be very powerful because Stella and Dot has great pieces that are really eye-catching, those statement pieces that I think can really get people's attention. The second thing is your profile picture. And, on your fan page, you have the big cover photo, and then you have this smaller profile picture. I suggest that you use your own personal photograph of you in that picture. Here's why. People want to do business with people. The fact is they could buy any kind of jewelry they want. They could buy from any Stella and Dot stylist they want. We want them to want you and what you have to sell. And if they like you and trust you, they're much more likely to do business with you instead of just doing business with a brand. So when you post something, it's really pretty cool that it's your picture And then the way Timeline is set up now, it always has, for instance, Tracy Schwartz, Stella and Dot, star stylist, founding director, all of her titles. It's always going to have your name beside your picture when you post on someone else's fan page or post on your fan page. The idea being, if you just put a Stella and Dot logo, that's not really selling you. And already when you post, it's going to say something about Stella and Dot. So show people the person behind the brand and make sure that it's, an attractive photo that shows your personality and shows that you're warm and friendly and approachable, that kind of thing. All right, the third thing is the About section. And if you have your computer in front of you, if you look, you have the cover photo first. In the lower left-hand corner of that cover photo is your profile. And right below your profile picture is an About section. And let me give you a great example of an About section that I think pretty much sums it up in one fell swoop. If you go to facebook.com/JBF sale, that's just between friends, JBF sale, and you look at their cover photo, it really sort of says a lot about their event because they are different than you guys, and again, it's all about the strategy. They actually do have a logo as their profile. But if you look at the below, it has a very short sentence of what JBF is all about, and then you see a hyperlink that will take you directly to their website. This About section is really important because it's searchable not just on Facebook, but it's searchable in Google, Bing, all these other different things. So you want to put some of your keywords in there, and this is only going to be 155 characters or less. Make it much longer, and you won't get all of your About stuff in, much less your link at the end. So you want to make it really short and sweet. What makes you different than any other stylist out there, and why should people buy Stella and Dot? And if you can sum that up in about 140 characters, you're golden. I mean, that's going to be your elevator pitch anyway, so you might as well have this down. But make sure it has keywords like jewelry, Stella and Dot, stylist, some of these things that people might be Googling for. And then at the end, put a hyperlink. And the best way to do a hyperlink, and as you'll see, it talks all about JBF, and then it has a hyperlink, and it just has the http://jbfsale.com. www just takes up characters these days, so you don't even have to include that. Make that hyperlink short and sweet, but workable, so people can automatically click on that and go straight to your website. So not only have you made your Facebook page SEO-friendly with your keywords, but now you have yet another link to your website, which is great for SEO, and it gives people that easy way to be able to click on that and go straight through to your website and start shopping immediately. All right, the fourth thing are apps. And I always describe this as you have an iPhone, and an iPhone is awesome. But what makes it really user-friendly are all the apps you can add. I was a BlackBerry gal for forever until I wrote a book and needed to start taking credit cards. And so I found out the iPhone has an app for that. I can swipe cards, enter it in, and go on to the next person in line. And it really streamlined what I was doing. So there are all kinds of apps out there for your smartphone. I want you to begin to think about apps for your Facebook fan page. And again, I'm going to refer to JBF because we've worked, this is one of my corporate clients that's a national franchise. And by the way, while y'all are there, I'd love it if you'd like their page. I take care of most of their social media, and I like to think we do some really great things. Anyway, so if you go, so you've got the cover photo, your profile picture on the left. Underneath that is about on the same level as the About, you'll see 4 boxes. And those 4 boxes are the very first part of their app. And you'll see the first one is pictures. No matter what you do, pictures, that photo is always going to be the very first picture on there. That's just the way Facebook has set it up. You can't change it. The picture in the little box is always going to be the last picture tagged with your fan page. But all the rest of the apps that already are on there or apps that can be added are all interchangeable. You can change out pictures. You can brand yourself. And as a matter of fact, there with JBF, if you go all the way to the end of that little row of 4 pictures, you'll see a little arrow. Click on that, and it will pull up all of their apps. And you can see how we have taken what could be branding another company. In fact, we have 3 different recall-type apps on there where you can search recalls, you can enter to be alerted to recalls, that kind of thing. And you can see that we haven't branded that company. We've branded JBF. We actually had graphics made, but you could just use a picture and made that look like JBF. No reason on your fan page to brand somebody else. And remember, your brand is just your reputation. So how do you create that illusion of your reputation and how you want people to see you? Well, these apps are great. So I would start thinking about some apps that you might be able to add that could be an extension of your brand or congruent with your brand, which, by the way, for the first time somebody used the word congruent, I'm like, sounds familiar. I'm sure I learned about it in school. Looked it up. So just to share it now, it's one of my favorite words, that they are alike and they're similar. All right. So how do you change those apps? Well, if you will email me, and I'm going to give you some stuff at the very end of the call that you can email me, and I'm just going to send you some free help for you. But there are several Facebook apps that are loyal and great and make it really easy, I think, for your business to be able to use apps easily and it not be confusing. But maybe, let's say InStyle. My girlfriend Mignon's on the call, and she introduced me to InStyle magazine, which, of course, I'm, panting at the mailbox waiting for it to show up every month. And maybe, there's an app that comes out for InStyle. You could add that as part of your style brand. And how you add those, I will send you instructions if you email me, and I will send you some basic apps that you can add that are tried and true. But how do you change those? If when the drop box is down, and if you'll go back to your own fan page, and you know how we went to the end of the row of the boxes to the right and clicked the little down button and all of our apps popped up? Well, on your own page, you're going to start to see something different. When you roll over each box of apps, in the right-hand corner, you're going to see where you can edit them. And if you click on that, you'll see a drop-down box, and it'll let you switch places of the apps. For instance, with JBF in April, we had a big giveaway. Each week we gave away an iPad and all this stuff. During April, that giveaway box was the second box that was prominent on their apps. And after the contest was over, we're obviously in May now, we removed that app. But if it's something that's not as important, you could move it to a lower section and not in that top 4 prime time space apps there. All right, so you can move them around. It'll show you where you can edit them, where you can change the name of the box. For instance, if you want to put your YouTube channel, you don't have to have YouTube channel. You could have Stella videos and hook it up with the Stella and Dot YouTube channel if you wanted to. Then you can also change the picture to a graphic or a picture or something that is, use that word again, congruent with your Stella and Dot stylist brand. And remind me at the end, besides some email stuff I'll send you, I have a blog that has outlined some of these things, detailed step by step on how you can make these changes. All right, the fifth thing with Facebook is that you can pin and highlight. And a lot of us are on Pinterest. I really suggest you get on Pinterest. It's a woman-dominated social media platform, and you've got something great to be able to show off with it. And you could actually hook Pinterest up to your personal profile, if you would like, on Facebook, your personal timeline. But Pinterest just shows us that pictures are key, and people love to pin, and they love to customize. So what I mean by pinning and highlighting on Facebook, your Facebook timeline now has 2 distinct columns. The left-hand column, as it goes down the page, is really chronological order. Facebook has said, okay, this is all your stuff in reverse chronological order. On the right-hand side are your fans. So if I went to Mignon's stylist page or Tracy's stylist page, and looked, I would be able to see how many of my friends also like that page. So it's sort of a thumbs up for fans out there, which I love. And as you go down, it'll show what other people, have posted about you and that kind of thing. Well, you can break up that monotony of having two different columns by highlighting. And if you go to any post, and I really suggest you do this with videos and pictures, because as we see with the escalation of popularity with YouTube and Pinterest, people are all about that visual, and you guys have the market on that with these, I say you guys, me too, we have the market cornered with these gorgeous statement pieces. So if you go to any post and you go over to the upper right-hand corner, like you did with the ads, and you roll over it, you're going to see a pencil and you're going to see a star. If you hit the star, it makes that picture go across both columns, and it breaks up that monotony. So let's say you want to...
Cindy, can you repeat that? I'm not following where you're telling us to look.
Absolutely. Okay, so on posts that you've already posted, so any past post, and let's say you took a picture of your Pegasus necklace on someone, and they're grinning ear to ear, and you take a picture. Once that is already posted, not when you're writing the post, if you go to that specific post and roll your mouse over the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see two little white boxes appear. One's going to have a star and one's going to have a pencil. If you click the star, it automatically expands that picture and takes it across both columns. So it's no longer a little picture in one column, it's now a big picture across both columns.
Got it.
That's how you can highlight. And once you highlight, it's highlighted until you unhighlight it. I mean, you can leave it like that forever. The other thing you can do, let's say you have a special party coming up on Thursday, and it's at a public place where anybody can come. It's not at someone's house. And you want people to see that the first thing when they come to your wall. If you will roll over the pencil and bring that down and it will say pen, you can pin it, and that will bring it to the top of your left-hand column for a week. So in other words, if I've got this big party coming and I pin it to the top of my Facebook, everything's in chronological order, every time I put my next post, it's going to drop down right below that pin. I put another post, it's going to drop down right below that pin, and that will stay there for a week, or unless you unpin it, and then it'll go back in chronological order. So this is a way, like your website, you're able to customize things. You can actually say, I realize everything's in chronological order, but I really want to pin this like a corkboard to the top. Or I really want to highlight this picture or video because it really shows what my brand is about, and it's going to catch people's attention. So think of timeline. A lot of people don't like it. I love it because you can make it much, much more personalized. All right, now the sixth thing you can do with Facebook is create milestones. And one reason that I love this is because generally with Facebook, with your website, you can make it go back as far as you want. But with Facebook, we're generally stuck with when we started using Facebook. Well, luckily, I was one of the early adopters, not because I was in college at the time it came out and had an EDU address, but because I got on Facebook right after they released the restrictions of you having to have a college email address. And so, that's 2008 or something. It's hard to remember. So I go all the way back to that. Well, you want people to know more about your business and go all the way back to when you started your business, right? Well, now you can go in and create milestones of, when Stella and Dot was founded. You don't have to just do your own milestones. You could do some milestones about the company or milestones about some research that they did or when they were in style or in people or People Watch, the People Style Watch. And how you do that is when you make a post, and you're posting as your fan page, not as yourself, and just so we all know the difference, if you look on your fan page in the very far upper right-hand corner, there's a little arrow. If you click on that, it'll bring up your profile and it'll bring up your fan page. If you click on your profile, then you're posting as your profile. And you can post a lot of times on your fan page as your profile if another little box is clicked, and I won't go into all that. But you can also click it that every time you go to your fan page, you're posting as your fan page. So let me give you an out-of-the-box difference with that. Like with Just Between Friends, I can post on Just Between Friends as myself, or I can post on Just Between Friends as Just Between Friends. You can manage your page, and if you want to follow the bouncing ball on this one, up at the very top where you found that little arrow and you could decide whether you want it to be your profile or your fan page, if you click on, and I'm going to have to look and see what this is called. Hold on, let me pull this up really fast. If you look at the very top of your admin panel, and you'll see Manage, Build Audience, Help. If you click on Manage, and a drop-down box will come up, and it will say Edit Page. And this call is recorded, so you guys can listen to it later if you're just on your cell phones in the car. I know Tracy's at a big event. You can go back and walk back through this. But you click Edit Page, and over on the left-hand corner, you'll see your settings, manage permissions, blah, blah, blah. If you click on your settings, you will see posting preferences. And it will ask you, when you post on your page, do you want to post only as your page, or do you want to post as yourself? I would say for you guys, because you are the brand on your fan page besides Stella and Dot, I would say click that, so every time you go to your fan page, you're always posting as your fan page. The exception to this, and that's why I talk about strategy, is if I'm the owner of a pizzeria and I, as the owner, want to give the recipe for my secret sauce, I want to post as the chef and say, hey, here's a really cool thing if you're making pizza at home. Put this much sugar in your pasta, in your tomato sauce, and it'll make it much better. Love to see y'all in here at my restaurant. And he posted as the pizza maker as opposed to the restaurant. Just gives it a little bit more personality. So that's why they give you the choice of going back and forth. But remember, your picture is of you, so you really are kind of posting as yourself, although you're posting as your fan page. I hope you followed the bouncing ball on that. Does anybody have any questions? So if you click that little box, posting preferences, you will always post as yourself, and then you won't have to make a choice when you go to your fan page. Okay, so back to milestones. Let me get to, so you're posting on your fan page as yourself, and when you go down to post, it'll say status, post video, and then it has a choice, event, milestone, or more. You can choose whether you want to post an event, and the great thing is if you add the event app, which I'm going to send you in an email. If you email me, I'll send you what that app is. It will automatically post on your apps above an event. If your hostess is good with that, that's a great way to be able to highlight your events. You can post a milestone or you can post a question. But the milestone is a great way to say, post a milestone. Here's when Stella and Dot was founded. And maybe you take a picture of, the gals who founded it and their very first piece of jewelry. You can do a milestone for when you started your business, a milestone for when the first piece was highlighted and in style or people watched. So it really is, and when it creates a milestone, it's going to be like highlighting a picture. It goes across both columns. So, again, it's catching people's eyes. And if you look just across from where you can post, where we were talking about creating a milestone, look all the way over to the right. You'll see now April 2012, 2011. It's now going to expand your timeline all the way down to founded. And will create all those different years in there that you create milestones. So it's a way for people to get to know your company better. Are they, going to go back and see when you founded? Well, they might be curious. When did Stella and Dot start? When did she start her business? And again, as I said, people want to do business with people that they know and trust. So, okay, those are my Facebook tips. And if you'll just write down Facebook tips and email me at Cindy, CINDY, at socialvention.com. which is the word socialvention. It's like reinvention, invention. I'm helping you with the social media strategy. Socialvention.com. I will send you a more detailed way that you can do all the things we just talked about. All right, now to talk about Twitter. So we're on tip number 7. What I suggest, Twitter is like a cocktail party. It's what's happening now. And believe me, if you can text message, you can tweet. It should not be that scary. I know Tracy tweets. If Christina's on the call, she tweets. Julie, I don't think she can make it, and she tweets. I tried to tweet some people out that I found their Twitter addresses before the call. But it's 140 characters you can text, you can tweet. But one of the things people love to do is go in on the first of the month or the first of the week and load in all of these tweets and make them auto-post. And then they never visit it again for another week or another month. The problem is there is no advantage to appearing to be engaged with your customers. It's sort of like walking into a cocktail party, laying down a whole bunch of your business cards or putting business cards in people's hands and turning around and walking out. It's not going to do anything for you, so why bother? But if you network at the event and you engage with people at the cocktail party and follow up with them on Monday in the office, then it's a way to keep from cold calling. It's a great way to network. It's a great way to expand your brand. That's how I met Tori Johnson, was through Twitter. Yes, we had both been she still is in TV, but I was in TV for 20 years. We didn't meet that way. We met because I did something I'm going to teach you a little bit later called Strategically Stalking with Excellence. And Twitter is a great way to do that. So, yes, you can hook your Facebook up to Twitter, but I really suggest that you sort of tweet what's happening now. And if you have that one sentence that you put in your About section of your timeline, then if you keep that in mind when you tweet, then you'll know how to create posts that you don't really have to think about, that are congruent with your brand. For instance, people love to say, oh, my coffee maker broke. That's all anybody talks about on Twitter. Well, instead of posting that and your coffee maker does break, you could say, oh, man, I really needed my caffeine today. I've got, this event where I'm going to be selling the great Stella and Dot jewelry. You come by and see me, but, I'm going to have to run by Starbucks and get my coffee. That's a way to tie your brand in with what's happening now. You can decide, you have to decide if you want to talk about your children. If you don't, whatever. I have my own strategy for what I do, and I do talk about my kids. So, again, it's figuring out what's comfortable for you. It's not a one-size-fits-all, but please do not pretend to be engaged with people. If you're going to do that, just don't even get on Twitter, is my suggestion. You'll end up turning off more people than on. The second tip with Twitter, which would be our 8th tip overall, is strategically stalk with excellence. And that I actually trademarked the term. And what it means is going out there and finding people that you want to follow or you want to connect with and actually making that connection. Let's say there's somebody in your community who is known for buying jewelry. I mean, you see that they're, wearing pieces that you love. You could start saying, hey, oh my gosh, I loved that necklace you had on in this picture that you tweeted out. You're not saying anything about selling dots. But you're beginning to create, for instance, with Tori, what I did was I didn't say, hey, I want to work with you. What I said was, oh my gosh, I love that story you had on this morning. Hey, what about this as a follow-up? There was no advantage for me. I mean, there was nothing in it for me. It was actually a good follow-up for her story. And I happened to have a contact for her that she could follow up, and it wasn't me. So that's what's called strategically stalking with excellence. It's finding people that you want to enter their sphere of influence. If you sell, let's say I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and most of my clients are in South Tulsa, but I want to begin to get clients in North Tulsa and in Midtown. I could start looking, and there's some places like Twitaholic where you can actually Google a town or search a town, and they will tell you all the people in your area that have the most followers. And you can begin to look at finding people and following people who have big spheres of influence or are in a certain section of town that you want to get to know, or you want to expand your brand to a new nearby town. And you can begin to follow those people and watch what they post and see if there's a way you can get into the conversation just like you would at a cocktail party. You wouldn't walk up to somebody and say, hi, I'm a Stella and Dot stylist. Buy my stuff. It's awesome. It's a party, and you'll get all kinds of free stuff. But if you're wearing all Stella and Dot, I just sold 3 earrings the other day from an event where people came up and they said, oh, my gosh, I love your earrings. Oh, well, I happen to sell it. I would love to follow up with you tomorrow. And out of the 5 people who commented on my earrings, 3 of them followed up. I didn't do the hard sell there, and they happened to approach me. But we were standing there having a conversation before they mentioned and they noticed my earrings. So it's not shoving your business down people's throats. It's strategically stocking with excellence, how to network with those people that you feel like could help you personally and professionally, following them on Twitter, finding a way to step into that conversation at the cocktail party and let them get to know you. If done properly, this will really work. LinkedIn. So now we're going to go to our, 6, 7, 8, our 9th tip. And I suggest you connect with everyone in your database. And I'm going to throw something out here to you. How was I able to find all of you on LinkedIn and send you a LinkedIn invite without spending quite a bit of time Googling? I use Gmail, which is my preference. And with my Gmail, I use something called Google Apps. Don't pay for it. Don't do the business version. Just do the basic free Gmail apps. And in that, you can add something called Reportive, like Reportive. And what that does is when I click on somebody's email, it pulls up all of their social media information if it's connected with that email address. So some of you I found on Facebook, a few of you I found on Twitter, almost all of you that were on LinkedIn I found on LinkedIn. And you can, send and make sure that you connect with everybody in your database. But with LinkedIn, you can also load in your contacts. It'll say, do you use Outlook, Microsoft Outlook? Do you use Gmail? What do you use? And it will send an invite to anybody in your database who has a LinkedIn account. And it's a good way to begin building your numbers. And where this helps, honestly, are most of your jewelry buyers going to be on LinkedIn? Maybe not. But you never know when that professional is going to have some big party at work and they've loved what you posted, you've given them some great business advice, and they decide they want to have you come in and set up a table at their big corporate event. Or, it is the boardroom of all of the social media that we're talking about. So if you want some ins with companies and to find out when companies are bringing new people into town, for real estate agents, that's huge, connecting with the HR folks in town at the big corporations. So if you download your database, at least you have that option of LinkedIn. And our last tip is to either blog and use YouTube. Remember I mentioned that videos and pictures are key. If you can use Pinterest or YouTube to get the word out about you, YouTube especially is really going to show your personality. If you can sort of build your following as an expert stylist, not always selling Stella and Dot, but selling style, it will really set you apart from the other Stella and Dot stylists in your area and really some of the other bloggers in your area. YouTube is the second most searched website right behind Google. So sort of like Facebook, you can't afford not to be at that party. You really can't afford not to be on YouTube. If videos are just way too uncomfortable, I at least suggest you blog. And remember, a blog is a paragraph. It doesn't have to be a dissertation. When you look at some of my blogs, they're kind of long, but a lot of them are technical and detailed. So on your blog, just blog about the newest necklace, or maybe you found maybe you figured out that wrap bracelet can, God bless you, can be worn as a belt. I'm not sure I could get it around my waist, but write the cool new things that you figured out. Write when there's some style thing you like in style, or you see some gal at a party and you decided you like the color blocking that has come back from the 80s. I finally bought into it yesterday. That's why it's on my mind. Or maybe how to make some of the Stella and Dot jewelry work with the color blocking. So those are the ways you can begin to expand your brand. All right, we've gone through our process. Like I said, the call is recorded, so you can go back through it, but I want to give you some extra freebies. One I mentioned is the Facebook apps. I would love to send you that list of just the plain apps that are on there and how you, I'm getting text messages, how you can use those easy apps that really do work on your fan page. So I'm more than happy to send you that, cindy@socialvention.com. I also have a moderation list. I have some clients that are network anchors and network reporters, and I actually have their network moderation list. And remember when we went into the manage the page, edit the page, it'll bring up, I think the first thing is settings, and it'll have a moderation list. I will send you that list. You just click copy it, and you paste it into your moderation area. And that way people, it takes every cuss word or, the word boobs or whatever, and it figures out every way that they could say, like an S might be a $, or, how to keep those words off of your page if somebody decides to spam you or hack your account. So I would be more than happy to share that moderation list with you because it really, really will help. And then the final thing is I just want to give you an extra bonus of strategy. And we sort of talked about it, but don't hard sell. I know sometimes when I did the Austin retreat for Tracy with the star directors, one of the things that they were talking about is they felt so personal on their profile, but yet felt like they had to always talk about jewelry on their fan page. I'm telling you, no. Be personable. People want to do business with people they know and trust. So if you've got some fun stuff that's congruent with your brand, post it on your fan page. Let people get to know you. If you've been up all night with your toddler and, you're dragging a little bit, it's okay to say, oh, wow, that's a great thing about working with Stella and Dot. I don't have any shows today, and I can grab a quick nap because I was up with my toddler all night. There are ways for people to be able to really make that connection. And I like to call it the 80-20 rule. I call it that. Actually, someone else called it that, and I stole it. I would love to give credit, but I don't know who originally said it. But what that is, 70-30 or 80-20, and it's that you're only talking totally business, selling something, 20 to 30% of the time. 70 to 80% of the time, you're talking about, yes, things that go along with your brand and ways you can sell your brand, but that either promote someone else or give people information for free or tell a little bit about you. And to give you an example, for instance, when Tracy posts that Sarah Michael got her latest and greatest thing that, she does every month, that, she's setting new records. When she does that, she's promoting somebody else on her fan page and tagged them in that and or tweeted about them. And that's just a way to help spread your sphere of influence, but also you may get a little bit of their sphere of influence. Somebody may see the post on Sarah's page and go, oh my gosh, who's this Tracy? I want to follow her. I want to, fan her page. So strategically doing things like that, promoting other people unselfishly. Let's see, what else did I talk about? Talking about you've been up all night with your toddler, so glad you work for Stella and Dot where you can set your own hours and you don't have a show today. Again, that's with your brand, but letting people get to know you. Giving away things for free. Maybe it's your YouTube video on style or your blog on style. Maybe it's the latest and greatest thing. You don't want to blog, you don't want to YouTube, but it's a really cool tip that somebody said, oh my gosh, I put this bracelet with these 3 bracelets, and you think it'd be too much, but it's not. Hey, I just learned this tip, blah, 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 and, repeat it. So those are just some strategy ways that could help you. So we've got about 10 more minutes here for anybody who still wants to stay. What questions do you guys have?
Hi, Cindy. This is Tara James. I have a question.
Hello.
How are you? What is
Good.
the best way to generate traffic to like your page?
A contest, bar none. If you can decide, okay, I'm going to give away, one of the really expensive pieces, so let's say like the Pegasus necklace, you have bought it half price, or it's maybe, a piece that's retiring. I know we like to hold on to those. But let's say you got the Pegasus necklace at half price, so it's not going to cost you nearly as much. But for everyone else, it's, $198? I just sold one 2 days ago. And you say, okay, I'm going to give this away. There is an app called wildfireapp.com. That's wildfireapp.com. And it will walk you through how to do a contest. So when you get there, you'll get an account, and it will say what kind of contest do you want to run. Do you want a contest to build your numbers, to offer discounts and build your sales, or do you want one to get people engaged? For instance, like Coca-Cola doesn't really need to necessarily build their numbers. They have a whole bunch. But they might want to build engagement and, again, get people to trust their brand. But you're going to want to go to the sweepstakes, which is how to build your numbers, and it will literally walk you through how to set up that contest step by step by step. And it's awesome. Then it will link you up with those apps. Remember we talked about the 4 apps? So you'll want to put that as like your second app right behind the Photos app. And on that I would put a picture of the necklace. I would say, win this, just something really simple underneath, say, May giveaway or whatever month it is, and promote the heck out of it. The other thing, tell people, hey, you can enter this and tell all your friends. I'm really excited to spread the word about the jewelry and give away this necklace. This is my favorite. The other thing is Wildfire. You can only run a contest through a third-party app. In other words, they idiot-proofed it. They've taken us out of the equation of rigging contests. So you have to use a third-party app. I pick Wildfire because, A, it's easy and self-explanatory. B, that's the one Facebook uses. They've never abused my list of people who've entered the contest or anything. Then you promote the contest. Wildfire actually promotes the contest. And, in fact, JBF, we gained almost 1,000 fans in a month because each week they gave away a $100 iTunes gift card one week. They gave away an iPad another week. So the bigger the prize is, the more people are probably going to like your page. But if you do it for several weeks, 2 weeks to a month, I would say, and really promote it, really tell people about it, tell your other Stella and Dot friends, hey, I'm giving this away. Your clients might want to check this out. Now, they're going to be loyal to their Stella and Dot fan, their Stella and Dot stylist, but you never know if one of their friends might go, ooh, so who's going to wear that necklace? I want to know more about them. That will help you build those numbers, and it actually helps you generate a winner. And then once the contest is over, it helps you email the person who won, but it also helps you send an email to everybody who didn't win, just saying, hey, we're going to be doing more giveaways. I hope you liked our page. Would love to hear more from you. And so it's another touchstone even after the contest is over, and it makes it really easy. So for me, I think that is easily the best way to begin to build your numbers, because the fact is everybody wants something for free, and the more valuable it is, make it your product. You don't have to give away an iPad. Give away some of your great stuff, and I think that will be an investment that will really pay off.
Okay. Thank you. That's so helpful.
Awesome. And if you go to my blog, it's cindywmorrison.com, or you can go to socialvention.com, and you'll see my blog. I have a blog on setting up contests. It's with the old Facebook interface instead of timeline, but at least it'll walk you through that and show you how to set that up. Oh, also, I know I told you guys the 3 things I was going to give away free. I just want to remind you again, the Facebook tips that I went through, I have a blog on that I will send you, the moderation list, and also what was the other one? Moderation list. Oh, and those apps that work best with Facebook that are just the basic ones. So any other questions that we have?
Hey, Sin.
Yes.
It's Mignon.
Hey, Minnie.
One of the things they mentioned at Hoopla last July in a social media Facebook little workshop, and I found this to be true, was that when you post something, you're going to get pretty much all the responses you're going to get in the first 24 hours. Do you find that to be true? And what can we do to make that get more things? Like, for example, I'm in the middle of an online talk show for a local philanthropy group, and I don't want to keep posting and posting and posting, but I want to keep people aware and keep some interest and make sure people know that it's live. So how can I do that without just beating everybody up about it?
Right. Well, pinning it to the top for 7 days, at least if somebody comes to your wall, that's the first thing they're going to see, so that will help. Also finding different and new ways to say it. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I talk about Spark and Hustle because we've got it coming to Tulsa, and then we have these 19 other cities. I find a new way, an interesting way to talk about it that hopefully people will get something out of it. So sometimes it's really just being creative. But yes, you're right. I think definitely those first 24 hours, because it ends up in their timeline news feed. And so when it's top of mind is generally when they will comment on it. But if you pin it to the top, sometimes that will get some additional comments. And like I said, finding different ways to say it. And it may be as easy as, I don't know if they're a nonprofit, but it may be, hey, doing this show here, and did you know the history of how they got started and where, what donations they need? I'm just using that as an example. Again, you're helping someone else, but you're reminding them what you do and that you have this event coming up. Maybe it's you go down there to take a tour of where you're going to set up your table and how big your table is going to be. You take some pictures of setting up your table. Any way that you can, if you do a cool display, hey, I did this really cool display for this event starting in 2 hours. Any way that you can just sort of put it out there without it always being self-serving or feel like you're harping on the same thing will definitely pay off.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Awesome. All right, any more questions before we wrap up?
Can I ask you one question about Reportive? So I use Gmail as well, and I think I just downloaded it. But I'm not seeing it anywhere on my account, or is it at the top somewhere?
It will be. Let me pull up my Gmail really fast. And again, I cannot tell y'all enough how much it has streamlined my business to go to Google Apps and have my Gmail account. And you can make it look like it's coming from like Tracy's Jim Fatal's email or your, Stella and Dot email or whatever. You can make it look like we're coming from wherever. But once you go over to Gmail and Google Apps, you will never go back. Yes, at the very top of if you go to your Gmail.
Yes.
And at the top, up where it says, like mine says, Cindy at Socialvention, to the left of that should be Reportive.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Oh, yes, yes.
And then once you tap on that, it will have you link your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Twitter. And like I said, in just literally rolling over everyone's email addresses, it automatically told me, who I could hook up with. So it's just another way to begin to build those numbers. And so did that help?
Yes, this is great.
Good. Well, to wrap this up, I just think that if you look at this as another cocktail party where you would, like Mignon and I were looking at some darling bracelet or something, and I said, oh, you ought to get it. And she's like, no, I only wear Stella and Dot because she's a walking salesperson, I mean, you're in the grocery store. You never know when somebody's going to love that bracelet, that necklace, those earrings, and suddenly you've booked the show. So think of your social media as the same. It's a place where you can not just set your business card and walk away, but really wear the jewelry, network throughout the entire party, and begin to build your brand, build the opportunities for doing these sales the fact is, the more fun you make these parties sound and the more people you get involved, the more others are going to want to do the same thing. So, one of the things that I always say is, use the smoke and mirrors without the smoke and mirrors. I mean, don't pretend you're something that you're not. But if you've got something really great going, tell people about it because they'll want to be a part of it too. So create that brand and that reputation that you strive to be and then live it because it really will make a difference. And don't forget about that strategically stalking with excellence, just like I strategically stalked all of y'all this morning and followed you. Start to think of this as the way to avoid some of those cold calls, to really network outside of your comfort zone. It's that grocery store, it's that mall, it's that next town, it's that next state where you can really begin to get people to know and trust you and you be the one that they want to not only buy jewelry from, but definitely Stella and Dot. So I wish you guys the best. Please email me, and we will get back with you today, these tips and tricks. And please spread the word about, I've actually combined my profile and my fan page, which I worked with Facebook. It's not available to the public yet, this particular thing that I did. But send me a friend request and say, Stella and Dot, and I'll friend you. Everyone else rolls over to a subscription for me. It's something new that's coming up that's probably going to change for a lot of people when they make it public in 6 months or so. So I'll be keeping you up to date. But on my timeline, I'm always giving social media tips. I love to talk about Stella and Dot. Would love to help you promote anything that you need to promote. And if you know somebody who's interested in social media strategy, send them my way. And I have several different programs. So you guys, thank you. Have an awesome day. And I hope this has made your Stella and Dot selling easier, but also now we've kind of gotten to know each other before Spark and Hustle. And I look forward to seeing you guys in each and every city. And please come up and introduce yourselves so we can get to know one another. Have an awesome day.